Happy Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about one call closes. It's ultimately probably the best thing in the world that we all want because we don't want to have to follow up. But a lot of times we have a scarcity mindset around asking for a deal or challenging them to think a little bit deeper. A lot of times we'll come into an objection where I need to think about it, I want to review it, whatever the reason is. But we don't do a great job of designing urgency in our conversations for the most part when we reach this roadblock because we don't want to cost ourselves the deal. Completely understand, completely empathetic to it. But I would challenge you to think about how many voicemails you end up leaving when you let these people off the hook because we don't do a good job of either setting the appointment, which we trained on earlier in the challenge, but also we just simply hold on to hope and then get really frustrated when they don't actually, close the deal later on. Here's the thing. We have to create urgency around, again, the emotion and the stress of what they're protecting, but also the possibility of what could happen. Like if someone's to think about it and you're in a conversation of coverage usually, and maybe it's just property damage or maybe it is liability. The question becomes, hey, I hear you, I get it. I need to ask you though, like we discussed all of these gaps and these issues with your policy. Like what happens if something happens today? We talked about what you're protecting, the stress and anxiety of the possibility. But if you think about it too long and something happens, we need to point out the fact that you're in the position that we wanted to avoid in the first place. Like that's the cost of thinking about it. And it's not about scaring them. That's truth. And here's the thing. When you do this, as I always remind you, you need to create space for them to acknowledge what you just said. Like you need to push for the deal because the urgency of the situation is real if you did a good job. And they're just delaying the uncomfortable decision of yes or no. Sales calls are broken down into three things, as I said: rapport, liability conversation, and closing the deal. In this conversation that we're talking about, you've done a good job with rapport. You did a good job, let's say, with liability. Now we're in an indecision point. You've been trained and taught to assume the close for a very long time, and that is still very good. Mr. Customer, I just need your credit card number. We'll start on the 17th of each month, just like you have right now. And usually when you assume the close, there's not a definitive question at the end because it's simply dot, dot, dot. It trails off because you don't know really what to say or you don't have the confidence to ask the question you want to ask, which is what? Will you do business with me today? And your yes or no question framing is completely up to you. Whatever that statement is, it's got to be, again, coming from your heart and your soul and your honest and your truth, but it needs to be something. Because if you just assume the close, you're never actually asking for the close, and then you never actually have an answer, and all of a sudden you have false hope, and you're leaving voicemails 17 times over the next 17 days. So, what could your ask for the close question be? It's up to you. For example, my team, Mr. Customer, let me just ask you a question. Is there any way I can possibly earn your business on this call today before we hang up the phone? Yes or no? The yes or no part is imperative to this whole thing. Yes or no is a yes or no question. If I leave it open ended, all of a sudden he's like, well, I need to think about it. But that's kind of a no, but it's not a no because you didn't ask for the no. And if they say no, that's cool. Then you're going right after the follow up, which is what? When's the best time to call you? Is this time? Here's the calendar. Let me move an appointment around. Let me send you a text. Like all of those things. Every single call can be the same. The interaction and the experience of the call is going to be different. But if you have a frame that you're following, it can be the same. I promise you, if you hold on to it. If you realize you're the professional and this is your container that you're putting this box into, they don't get to tell you how this goes, and you hold strong, you're going to show up differently every day. That goes for life. When we're talking about core four and we're talking about stacking, you control all of your frames. Like in your marriage, you obviously use a conversation to figure out what the frame is with your spouse because you became one. But once you guys decide that, that is your protection and your boundary that you protect till death do you part. No one gets to come in and break that, or no one should. Same thing inside of what you decide for your body. This is what goes in my body because this is what feeds me healthy. When you go to dinner and they're like, what do you do that for? Because this is what goes in my body and this is what makes me feel good. Well, don't you want to have this drink? Nah, it doesn't make me feel good. Oh, you're no fun. That's cool. I guess we're not friends anymore because that's not exactly how you talk to a friend. So, I mean, it's all about making a decision on what is important to you. Let me end this call. It's distracting me. So it's a matter of what you want to do. Okay. What do you want to do? What do you want to do today? And if the answer is yes or no, and it's no, okay, when I call you on whatever date at this time and you do the appointment process, what do you want to do then? Is that going to be the decision time? Why don't you think about it? What needs to happen for you to be in a yes or no decision at that point? When you go through your form this week, I want you to declare, it's Wednesday. I want you to declare how you're going to go for the no. Everybody's like, well, what do you mean? Don't you want to go for the yes? I want to go for the no. I want to go at the no. Because if you have a 20% close rate, you need 8 no's to get to that yes. That's just a fact. And the no creates certainty that you don't have to waste your time following up, and all of a sudden your bucket doesn't become overwhelming where you're leaving 45,000 voicemails a day and you start to beat yourself up on, I'm getting burnt out. You don't get to earn the right to go for the yes or no, though, if you have a shit show of a process on the front side. If you don't build rapport, you don't have liability, you don't follow the process, then you don't earn the right, and it's going to be a disaster at the end because you're just price shopping. Well, the answer is no, because you're too expensive, and you gave me no value. That's not what they're saying, but that's what they are saying. So when you make your declaration and what you're taking away, declare that you're going after these no's, and then track them. Try a statement, and then try a new statement, and then try a different statement, and figure out which one fits you, and then declare that's your statement. Tell your manager, tell your agent, this is my statement. When you listen to my calls, I want you to listen for this. I want you to hold me accountable to this because this is what's going to work for me. And if you hear me do like fumbling around, coach me, help me. They're your leaders. The more one call closes you make, the less voicemails you got to make. That's the best game. And remember, inside of all of life, you get to hold the frame. You get to hold the container you put yourself in. No one else does. And if you allow someone else to do that, it's your fault. You're allowing it. Period. God put you on this earth to create and build and grow. You get to decide how that goes. And if you get stagnant and you don't want to do that, and all of a sudden your agency owner or your manager is coming at you saying, hey, we're trying to go here. You don't seem to want to go here with us. You seem to want to stay right here. That's your decision, and that's amazing. Sometimes the agency outgrows you. Sometimes you outgrow the agency. Sometimes you guys move together and success is found together. All are okay. All are not wrong. You just got to decide where you're going. And I promise you, most agencies are going towards this yes or no, one call close approach for marketing reasons. It's expensive. It's expensive for time to follow up and all of those things. So frame what your question is. What is your yes or no question? Write it down, practice it. If it sucks, practice it again. If it sucks even worse, maybe change it. You're not stuck in a hole. You can do whatever you desire. But the desired result is always going to be the sales. 1.5 weeks left. Let's dial this shit in and continue down this path. Core 4, stacking, get it all done. Get ready for your discovery stack on Friday. I'll see you tomorrow.